Hello, everyone. It is I, Chuck the Cybercuck. I am back from my slumber. I was out training with Harambe, and today I will be hosting this amazing episode that I hope you all find amazing. And Seth is a side host. He's also a side ho because I took his woman and his channel.
Daddy.
So today's topic is how strong would you be if you became as strong as Saitama, or basically if you broke your limiter? To begin this story, we'll go over what kind of person you would be before you acquired this huge power up. Okay, guys, so picture this. You're this little scrawny nerd. You know, you have these glasses that make you look like Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. You know, you're so scrawny you can't lift even over 30 pounds. You're socially inept. You basically watch anime with no subs because you think you know Japanese, even though you're a huge fucking weeb. You have a waifu pillow, which you sleep with every night. And every day to lunch, you bring this little Sailor Moon lunchbox with your tater tots, your chicken tenders, or whatever other shit you eat because you're a fat slob. So basically, every time you're getting bullied or you're getting rejected, you think to yourself, how strong would I be if I became Saitama? Would I get all the bitches if I became Saitama? Would I be an intellectual and superior human being if I became Saitama? Not such a fucking loser. Well, your questions will be answered.
So you're at school, and your crush is sitting right next to you in math class. She's doing it because you have a science tease, not because she likes you. But she asked you for a pencil, and just the thought of her asking for your pencil really gets you going. And you're aroused all day. You have to hide your boner with your binder. You know, you're awkwardly holding your binder in front of your pants, right, when you're walking out of class. Now, the bully obviously knows this. Everyone knows it, but they're just trying to hide it because they don't want to embarrass you yet. And as you walk out of class, and you're clearly walking to the bathroom with this hard on, right? And one of the bullies notices this, and he's like, "All right, I think Eugene over here is totally trying to fap in the bathroom, right?" And so they follow you in there. And when he walks in there, he hears a weird noise. He hears this weird slapping noise. A few seconds later, you walk out of the stall, and you're about to close your DS, but the bully comes in and snatches the DS before you can close it and close all your porn. All of a sudden, everyone notices that you're watching Android 18X and Perfect Cell porno, and then the bully quickly runs out of the room laughing and flashes it to the entire cafeteria because it's lunchtime. Now everyone knows that you watch hentai in the bathroom at school, and in a fit, you ask him, "Give me back my DS, give me back my DS," and everyone's just laughing at you, right? So you try to get his name. You're going to tell on him because that's all you can really do. You're kind of a nerd, right? You're kind of awkward. You're like, "Tell me your name, I'm going to tell on you." And he tells you. This is where everything changes. He tells you his name is Humongous. All of a sudden, your worried expression becomes a serious one. You look at him straight in the eyes and you say, "What did you just say to me?" He looks at his friends and then looks at you with a smirk on his face and says, "Humongous."
After he says this, you suddenly get so triggered. You look at him dead in the eye once again and say,
"This person just spoke to me in a sexually harassing way."
I did not.
Yeah, he did. He said, "Do you know what my name is?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "Humongous." Yeah. This person just sexually harassed me.
I said I'm humongous.
That's.
he doesn't understand that you have a fire within you that's just dying to get out. You want to go Super Saiyan. You want to go Eugene mode and take out the AK out of your backpack and then start blaring at the whole fucking cafeteria room. You cannot believe that he just triggered you. You try to look for a safe space, but you can't find any because it's not fucking Tumblr.
You realize safe spaces don't exist in real life, and you run home crying. You instantly get on Tumblr and express how you were sexually harassed by this bully, Humongous. Next, you go to your mom and you ask, "Mom, what should I do when I'm getting sexually harassed by bullies at school?" Your mom then replies with, "I have a boyfriend." So then you realize you've got mom zoned, and you realize it's time to train. It's time to do push-ups. It's time to do sit-ups and drink lots of juice. It's time to become the strongest. Now, you start getting homeschooled for the next year or so, trying to let all the heat blow over before, confronting your bullies once again. You try to let the training accumulate a little bit. So when you go to school next year, you're not as scrubby, but you're still kind of a scrub, right? You're still kind of a loser. You've been jacking off in your room a lot, right?
So basically, it's the winter time when you return to school. You see your crush is sitting there with her girlfriends, and she's shivering because a dumb bitch didn't want to wear a sweater because, like those little skirts and, her t-shirts with the stupid Teen Spirit. Yeah, and her Nirvana t-shirt, which, she probably thinks is a brand and not a band because she's a fucking idiot. But you still like her, You can't judge. But anyways, you go up to her and you say, hey, do you want my sweater? I see that you're shivering, I noticed you. I always notice you. You look her dead in the eye, and your heart starts pounding as she is about to reach for your sweater. You start shivering. You can feel the sweat dripping from your hands. And suddenly, she grabs the sweater from you. She accepts it. She embraces it. You suddenly start to get a hard on. But then, as she puts on the sweater, she notices that there's these really, really strange white stains on the sleeves. And she looks at it and says, what is this? And then you start stuttering. I don't know. And then you remember that you used that sweater as a jizz rag. You ran out of Kleenex since you've been fapping too much. And your last resort was to either wipe it off with your tongue or to use your sweater. And you decided to use a sweater. Now, this situation you will never forget.
Her eyes open very wide. She suddenly realizes. Then you get super embarrassed. She throws the sweatshirt right at you. You run away. Spaghetti is falling all out of your pocket. You're on the ground covered in spaghetti sauce. You suddenly throw up as you think it's actually blood and not spaghetti sauce. You then realize it's spaghetti sauce and then realize it fell out of your pockets. You get more embarrassed. You then unzip your pockets to see if your tater tots were still in order. You quickly shove the spaghetti sauce and meatballs back in your pockets and mix them with the tater tots. You look behind you and see that everyone is gasping and laughing at you. You get so embarrassed that you run home again. But before you do, you slip on more spaghetti sauce, getting more embarrassed. Then you quickly run home and realize it was time to take a complete break from school. It was time to be homeschooled for the rest of your life.
So, to restore your honor, you think to yourself, I must train harder. I need to become Saitama, the little bald Caillou-looking fuck. That's my only way that I can get all the bitches and finally not be such a socially inept nerd. So when you first begin your strenuous training, it gets the best of you because you are not used to actually lifting your body more than an inch off the ground because you've been sitting on your ass all day, fapping to 2D girls and drawings, and basically playing video games all day. So basically, you begin to stress out too much, and your body aches. After you do hundreds of sit-ups and push-ups, you finally start to see progress. You start to see it. Your muscles start to grow. You're able to lift more than 30 pounds now. But you're still a fucking loser. But hey, it's still progress.
Years later, your training is finally complete.
So how strong would you be if you actually broke your physical limiter and broke your limitations? Now, this is a very controversial topic, but let's go over what we know. We're going to assume that Saitama used 1% against Boros. Now, there are arguments that say that Saitama used a trillionth or an infiniteth of his power, right? And that he's omnipotent and he's unbeatable with with his limits broken. But 1% is the more rational way to look at things. And actually, he probably used a lot more than 1% if he said serious punch. 1% is a courtesy. We're not going to say he used 1/infiniteth of his power. But if we do say, okay, he used 1%, we could find out how strong you'd be if you broke your limiter. Now, you see, Boros' final attack, Boros, by the way, also states that he is beyond the limitations of humans. And we also know that Boros isn't infinite either, but let's just ignore that. Let's ignore Boros, and let's just, stroke that Saitama dick a little bit, right? So Boros was capable of destroying the Earth. Now, I'm going to assume that Boros can destroy planets like Jupiter, etc., because his attack is called Planet Buster Roar Cannon, and the Earth is actually a small planet. So we're going to assume that Boros can destroy normal planets, larger planets even, because he's very confident he can do pretty much everything. Can he destroy stars? I don't think so, but I mean, if he can, I wouldn't be surprised either, if that makes sense. But basically, we're going to say that Boros can destroy large planets like Jupiter. and that Saitama used 1% against Boros. And with that, he was able to one-shot Boros. So he's at least like twice as strong as Boros, even using 1% of his power. Now, if Boros is large planetary, then Saitama would be 200 times large planetary, which actually might put him at star levels. And then with speed, you have him using less than 1% or 1% of his power. He was able to leap from the moon back to Earth in a matter of 1 to 2 seconds, which is light speed. Now, this pretty much makes him 100 times faster than light. So basically, in a sense, you'd be around star level, and you'd be about 100 times faster than light. However, for the sake of you and this story, you're going to be as strong as everyone fucking thinks you are. That's right, now you are a limitless gag character.
You barge into your high school, now a big, burly, bald black man. You punch your crush in the face, and you punch your bullies all in the face and kill everyone in the school. You basically shot up the school with your fist.
After you've been done annihilating your entire school, suddenly somebody bursts into the door and looks at you and screams right at you and says, "Captain Stutters, we need your help." And you decide to reply with, what is it? And the guy looks at you thinking that you're a fucking retard. But he says, "We need your help. There's somebody terrorizing the city." He completely ignores all the bodies that you have just like basically destroyed with your fists. But he ignores it because this threat is much more than that.
You look at him in shock. Then suddenly you jump out of the moon and destroy your entire city. In the ruins of the destroyed city, you see the villain himself, another big burly black man, the Old Spice guy. You and the Old Spice guy stare each other down. Then suddenly you jump out of the moon again, and he jumps back up to the moon. And since you both have half the power of the Big Bang within your fist, you equal a full Big Bang and destroy the entire universe. Then the mayor gives you the key to the city, and you say, "Thank you, mayor." And he replies with, "I'm a vegan."
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense. You just randomly jump out of the moon.
Oh my god. Holy fuck, baby. Okay.